Hello students, hope all of you can hear me properly. Here we are going to start database implementation course, and here we are focusing on database tables and normalization. Okay. We already started this session in this section in last session, right? And okay, I will start from the beginning again, and here then database tables, we started this section, and we mentioned about the database tables and normalizations. We mentioned that we already know that what are tables in databases, and basic initial types of normalization. First normal form, second normal form, and third normal form. Next one is Boy's code normal form, BCNF. So they are considered as initial types of stages of the normal forms. And what is the requirement of having normal forms, normalization of databases? Okay. So general meaning, what is the general meaning of normalization? We mentioned these things, right? After that, so we mentioned that the normalization is important for reduce redundancies of database, right? It will formalize, okay, by going through normalization stages. So it will normalize. We can normalize data in databases. After that, so normalization means you can start from 0. After that, go 1, first normal form, second normal form, third normal form, fourth Boy's got normal form according to our syllabus, right? After that, if needed, you can go back by going through denormalization, lower level. Then you can go higher level to lower level normalization stages, right? So if needed, okay, in some instances, okay, it is sometimes it is using this concept and these actions, that is about denormalization, right? We mentioned about requirement of perform normalization, right? Then here we discussed about one example regarding to requirement of performing normalization of tables or databases, right? Then we mentioned this example, okay? Just after looking at this table, okay, if we consider this as table, look at these things, there are some empty cells, okay? Then you can't see there. Then so if you know, if we can consider these records as these things having as records, then you can see that these data of these cells are absent. So after that, you can see so project number absent, and same employee number can be seen here. 103 if it is using 101, 103, 104. So 101 reappearing employee number. So these are the characteristics of this given data sheet, right? Study this one and study characteristics of this given data sheet and records of these given data. So we know that then project number. So we meant here the project number. Sometimes it is appearing, sometimes it is not appearing in other records. So we can't guess that because of there should be properly fill these records. And is one basic thing we can notice just after looking this data sheet, right? So you can see many instances are here. So we have to normalize this one. And some other examples, if this, so if we are trying to, we mentioned that what happens, the job classes, then inconsistencies, so differences, so then it is not consistent. Sometimes it has mentioned some data in one way, and other place it has mentioned another way, problems. Why? So when you are going to update this data, okay, so practical problems, practically then when you perform some update, then there might be data redundancies, duplications, inconsistencies may happen due to again this inconsistency. So then it will lead data anomalies, right? Then what kind of anomalies can be happen there? Update anomalies. So we mentioned that. So if someone updates some record related to job class, so we mentioned that there were many inconsistencies, and if it is insert some data, again there may some inconsistencies, and that will lead some anomalies, problems related to insertions, right? Here problems related to updates and deletes. So if someone tries to delete some record related to 103 employee number 103, but so that is not a unique one. Then if there are many records related to 103 employee number, then all the records would be get affected. So that's why we can consider it is occurring deletion anomalies when there is not formalized data. So we can understand we can understand the requirement. Then we have to normalize these data sheets, tables, databases by going through proper steps, by following proper steps. Some examples. We mentioned these things, right? Already mentioned last week. Okay. So by going through these, so these are the things actually related to the given data sheet. You can just read and understand these examples. Then you can understand the importance of normalizing of this data sheet. So normally in spreadsheet, you can find this kind of data, right? Right. Then you have to normalize that. So normally we are considering as when it is not in normalized, when it hasn't normalized, we can consider it is in zeroth normal form or not normalized stage. Got that? After that, Then okay, then we have to then previously it was zeroth normal form or not normalized stage. Then how we can convert that into first normal form? Here these are the reasons. So 20.2 cannot stored as shown. Why? Like this way, right? 20.2, 20.1 you can't store like this way in first normal form. Then we mentioned some characteristics. We have mentioned some characteristics at 20.1. Look at here 20.1. After that, this is 20.2, right? Figure. Then again, we were discussing about then the data 20.2 cannot store and show as shown, right? Then 20.2 contains what known as repeating groups because of any project number can have a group of several data entries, right? So this kind of things. Then we have to produce a solution for this kind of problems, right? Then what kind of solution can be given for this kind of scenarios, right? Then here these things are data are not available in a table or data sheet, right? Then relational data must not be contain repeating groups, as we know that. So we have to so then next solution we have to perform, or we have to produce by providing this solution. Then here, so we can fill that in this way. Then a project number and project name and employee number, like kind that way. Then we can so we have avoid that empty data cells in data sheet, right? So after that, so other thing is then next problem is what? So we have to we know that we have to this when considering this as a record. So someone should be able to understand or uniquely recognize this record by referring one or actually if it is possible one field, we can consider it as primary key. Here by using by referring only project number as primary key, can we recognize a record uniquely? No, it is impossible because of, you can see several 15s are here. Then we have to use more than one fields. So that's the way we should basically think, right? While looking at this kind of data sheet. Hope all of you can understand these basic steps or basic states or basic ideas and concepts, right? Then after that, so that this is the thing that has been mentioned about the previous scenario and the previous problem. So project number can't use for uniquely identify a record. And can we use project number and employee number combinations? Maybe, right? Project number, the 15 project, employee number 103. Are there any 15 and 103 combination? No, right? So normally we can consider that so employee, then there are projects. So different tasks can be have different projects, right? Projects and different employees can be assigned to some. So this employee has assigned for one time for this project, right? So then 1503 not again repeating. So then this field and this field. So like you can check in other records for then 1501, 1505, 1506, 1502, and 15. So that kind of way you can use these two fields, right? For what? Uniquely identify a record. We know when we use two fields for identify a record, so that key can consider as you know that composite key, actually composite primary key. Then two or multiple keys can be used for record, uniquely identify a record. Then it is okay using then so you can see here then very important focusing on the fields of given table, right? Table or datasheet here, in table. So if you are considering project number, we previously discussed about what is project number in is given data table, right? Then employee number, right? So you can see here employee name depending on partially depending on, right? Partially, this word very important, would be very important, these words. You have to understand these terminologies, these terms and concepts very clear way. Okay, then all normalization process or procedures are depends on these things, right? So partially depends. So employee number, okay, by using employee number 101, okay, by using, so employees, if this is 101, that means employees are primary key or employees key. Then by using that, we can recognize employee's name, job class, charge hour, kind of things. So look at these arrows which are used for indicating specific fields, right? This is no needed. Then here, like kind that way. Then other thing. Next one. Then we can use this field for identify project name. It is enough. Project number. By looking at project number, you can understand a project name. That means that is also why partially depends on why it is considered as partially depend. Why? Very important this concept, right? And here look at this one. We consider this employee number and project number both are required for produce composite primary key. That is the main key of this table, right? Why we use that main key for recognize records uniquely. Then so by using these two fields, we can form a composite key. After that, so other fields, okay, you can uniquely identify others. by then when part of primary key, when some field here, this field depends on part of composite key, right? Then partial dependency. This field depend on part of primary key, part of composite key, then partial dependency. The basic concept would be very important for all stages of understanding, stages of normalization. Then here, so now we know what is partial dependence. Okay, then when we are talking about partial dependencies, we should know what thing important. Composite primary key or composite key, right? When there is only one primary key, okay, then we don't need to talk about partial dependency. Like in this way. Anyway, then here, so composite primary key, when there is composite primary key, you can observe partial dependencies there. Then next one, okay, then transitive dependency. Transitive dependency, when you are talking about transitive dependencies, right? So this is this one key and another key, then another field. Okay, this is, so these are not these are non-prime keys. Why? They are not related with composite primary key or this primary key. So here, this is not a primary key, job class. Okay, then this is also not a primary key, charge hour. So when charge hour depends on job class, for an example, electrical engineer, okay, charge per hour, okay, depends on the job class. So other civil engineers, we don't know the charge. Then the charge per hour depends on the job class. But job class is not considered as composite primary key or primary key. It is a non-primary key. Hope you can understand because of, okay, it is not a part of the primary key or composite primary key. So when it appears this kind of, then you can see by some dependency, right? So charge hour basically depend on job class. So that type of dependency called as transitive dependencies. So now we know two main important things: partial dependencies, transitive dependencies, and you should be able to understand why we are telling, why we are mentioning, why we mention the reason for call them as that type of dependencies. Okay, then study these things and understand these very important sections. Okay, then understand what are partial dependencies, transitive, and why and how they are explaining or notating, uh, how showing them in these kind of table, figure, or using these kind of fields. This was the primary composite key. I hope you can understand these things properly, right? So these explanations, right? We mentioned what is partial dependencies. So very important to memorize about your project number, project name. These are examples, right? Look at this one. Then because of all explanations are based on this example. And here, look at this one, job classes, right? We have formalized in some first normal form already because of it. Then you can't see then if they are electrical engineer, then all electrical engineers should be look like this page of class. Otherwise, there may be inconsistencies. And then charge power, look at this one, right? So database engineer, look at this one, database engineer and charge power, look at that. Here what? Transitive dependency. Look at this one, right? Database engineer. You can see that then always database engineers charge. Right? Transitive dependencies. Why this is not a primary part of primary key? Then you can tell that, call it as that way. Then other things what? Then if you get employee number, then employee, we mentioned that employee name and job class, charge hour, basically depends with what? Employee number. Then project name, that is depends with project number, right? And after that, we mentioned that this is the these two fields should be able to use to produce a uniquely identified record. Then other than that, then you can understand what are partial dependencies, what are transitive dependencies. They are the two main dependencies, important dependencies to understand that. So these hours, you can see that here hours are mainly depends on both primary key, that means employee number and project number, right? Okay, then partial dependencies. Okay, we told that we mentioned that understanding of without these basic understandings, then it is very harder to understand other things, other second normalization form, third normalization form, directly based on these two concepts. So that means what? Removing partial dependencies. By removing partial dependencies, you can convert first normal form into second normal form, right? We will discuss how we can remove partial dependencies. And by removing transitive dependencies, you can convert second normal form into third normal form. So that's why the importance of understand these concepts, right? By looking at table, you should be able to understand. So what normal form that table is now currently existing. Got that? Look at these things. We discussed these. So you as we examine dependencies, okay, then that dependencies can also written as this way. Then project number. Then all these things are so project name, employee name, job classes, and charge hour and hours. Everything. So everything in record are depend on actually this composite primary key. So that is why that is the actually function of a primary key or composite primary key. If you can recognize all the data on some specific record, then you have to select some primary key or composite primary key. So that what representing this. Then project number we mentioned that only this one depends on. Then these things are depends on this key. Then partial y, and we mentioned that y transitive here. Got that? Okay. Then here y this is especially called as transitive. This is not a primary key related to primary key, non-prime key. Depend on another non-prime key. So why we okay, that is okay. Then here very important this term key attribute. Any attribute that is at least part of a key is known as prime attribute or key attribute. Right? We can understand. Right? Then key attributes. So these things. So we mentioned that so key attributes, these things are right, and prime attributes, and other things are like job class or other that kind of things are non-prime attributes or non-key attributes, not a part of that primary key or composite key. So hope you can understand these concepts. Partial dependencies cannot be tolerated because table cannot contain such dependencies, kind of things. So that is a story about first normal form. Mainly you should understand, okay, there can be in first normal form, there can be partial dependencies. Other thing you have to understand, there can be transitive dependencies. Okay, what kind of things cannot be there? Got that? Understand? Okay, then so it should be able to uniquely identify record by preferring one or two or multiple fields. Got that? Okay, and other important thing, there can't be multi-value attributes, right? That means what is the thing? So one column for what job class, there can't be electrical engineer or database manager multi-values for one record. Got that? So okay, for one then phone number. So if there are phone number, then here, so one, okay, then normally in first normal form, if it is in first normal form, there can't be two more phone numbers for one record. So we can't consider it is as first normal form. Definitely, right? So we have discussed that kind of instances, what we should how we can take decisions or removing that kind of, then if there are this kind of multi-value attribute, we can say that it is not in first normal form, right? So like kind that way, if there are no that kind of multi-value attributes or that kind of thing, then if it is what in like this way, we can consider first normal form. There can be partial dependencies, no problem. Partial dependencies, transitive dependencies, no problem. So, but if it is behaving like, then you can understand by using these two keys uniquely others, then you can consider this is in first normal form, no problem. But this is in second normal form, no. Okay, third normal form, no. Why this is not in second normal form? Okay, partial dependencies. If it is in not second normal form, then it is okay. We can automatically consider as other higher normal forms are also cannot be seen there. Not follows that rules. Hope you can understand these logics. Basic understanding regarding to these concepts are very important. Okay, right. This is about first normal form. දැන් එතකොට මේ first normal form එක මොකක් වගේද දැන් මේ database එකක තියෙන inconsistencies අයින් කරලා හරිද normalize කරන්න normal forms use කරනවා. එතකොට මේ normalize වෙන එක වැඩි වෙන්න data inconsistencies පුළුවන් තරම් අඩු වෙනවා. එතකොට ඔයාලට database එකේ මොනවටද මේක ලේසි වෙන්නේ queries කරන්න ලේසි. හරි database එක handle කරගන්න ලේසි. හරි. එතකොට lower normal forms අර දැන් normalize කළාම නැත්නම් ඒක normalize කරපු නැති එකක්. ඕන්න අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් zero normal form එකේ තියෙනවා කියලා. හරි. එතකොට ඔයාලට අර විදිහට uniquely identify කරන්න පුළුවන් stage එකට records ගෙනාවට පස්සේ first normal form එකේ තියෙනවා කියනවා. ඊට පස්සේ අපි කිව්වා ඒකේ ඇතුලේ first normal form එකේ ඉන්නකොටම partial dependencies තියෙන්න පුළුවන් no problem. transitive dependencies තියෙන්න පුළුවන් ඒත් no problem. ඔයාට partial dependencies වල තියෙනවා කියලා අඳුර ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕන. transitive dependencies තියෙනවා කියලා දැනගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕන. ඒවා දැනගෙන තමයි ඊළඟ actions අරගෙන අනිත් normal form වලට අරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන්. ඉස්සරහට normal form එක වැඩිම එක හොඳම කියලා අපිට කියන්න බෑ. ඒක database admin දැනගන්න ඕන. මොකද එයාගේ තියෙන requirement එක අනුව ඕනේ ගානට data ටික normalize කරගන්න. හරිද? ඊට වැඩි අඩුවෙන් normalize කරගෙන උනත් වැඩේ efficiently කරන්න පුළුවන් නම් හරි denormalize කරන stage එකට යනවා කියලා කිව්වොත්. ওই ටික තමයි අපි මේකෙදි discuss කරේ. අපි ඊළඟ ප්‍රසන්ටේෂන් එකට යමු. ඔයාලට ප්‍රශ්න තියෙන ඒවා දාන්න chat එකට. එතකොට මම කන්සිඩර් කරන්නම් ඔය cat 1 එක ගැන අහලා තිබ්බා ඔෆිෂියලි අප්ඩේට් එකක් LMS එකේ දෙන්න. ඒක එහෙම දෙන්නම් ඩේ ස්කූල් එකේ මෙන්ෂන් කරන්නේ නැතුව මම. හරි අනිවාර්යයෙන්. Okay. Then we focus on next presentation. Second normal form. Read and understand these concepts. conversion to a second normal form. So we know that so to convert second normal form, that table should be exist in first normal form. So you know requirements to stay in first normal form. After that, so you directly convert something into a second normal form, you have to remove partial dependencies. You know what are partial dependencies? Then you should be able to recognize there is partial dependencies and provide solutions for removing partial dependencies. So they are the actions you should be able to take while you are converting some table which is in first normal form into second normal form, right? Then here, look at this one. So previously, in previous example, same example, so results of operations, then previous one, there were partial dependencies. Hope you can remember that project name was depend on project number, and these things were depend on employee number. Got that? And other thing you can see here, then hours are depends on employee number and project number. Hours are only depends on both of these keys. Got that? Hours, we mentioned that. After that, look at this one. So partial dependencies, how we can convert. Then if we have what? So previous table, if we can convert into these kind of tables, right? Then so this one project table here, look at this one. So if we can get records of project table, then we can put what project number here and project name here, and we have to mention project number and relevant project name there. Okay, then like kind that way we can produce one table, that is project table, right? Then you can see then another table according to this one. You can have another table according to this one, right? So employee number, employee name, job class. Okay, you can't see any project numbers are there, but you can see here. So here you can see here, are there any partial dependencies? No partial dependencies. Okay, then here in these records, so these are depends on directly on employee number, one primary key kind of thing. Okay, not a composite key this is anymore. And there is no partial key on partial dependencies in this primary key. Then previously in first normal form, there was a big data sheet like table, right? We have break that into, so then one thing, one table or that employee information, some kind of table. So we have broken into what? This one, and also this one. So assigned table that hours, because of based on directly this one, these two. So this is the way you can convert that into what? Second normal form. So then we can say that this is in second normal form. It also in first normal form. Okay, these all are in first normal form and also second normal form. So this the highest grade level one is important because of when we are normally call it as that is in second normal form. Okay, the person who knows about normal forms already know that that is already in first normal form. Got that? Otherwise, it can't be in second normal form. So that is the way convert of second normal form. Then there is no partial dependencies anymore. Got that? Got that? So partial dependency is not anymore. Look at this one. Here, there is no partial dependencies. Okay, there is composite key something very important to understand. Okay, it is not partially depending, right? Completely depend on this key. Got that? So this hours not depends on project number. Well, understand the difference. Otherwise, there would be a doubt, right? Very important this concept. The hours field not depends on directly depend on one key. Got that? So it is depends on both of these fields, right? Very important to understand. So previous one here got that previous example. You can see here that this so when employee number and project number mentioned as composite key, and then the job class depends only what was depend on employee number, not only both, not both, but only the hours depends on these both. Got that? So then you can see there is no partial dependencies. Then that's why we consider that as that is in second normal form. Got that? So very important that kind of dependencies you have to study more about the dependencies kind of things while you are going through these kind of concepts because of so these are normally for final exam you will be definitely asked for normalizing related questions and you would be able to score more than 25 marks for this section, right? So previously we mentioned that when we know about uh, ER diagrams related related things, right? We mentioned that ER and relational schema, you can score right about okay 40-50 marks. Okay, then if you can score 20-25 marks from these normal forms, so what is the other thing we have to cover? SQL, right? So SQL you can score 25-30 marks okay by going through SQL. So that is the way that you can score at the final exam. Okay, I'm not talking about CAT now because of it depends. Then here, how you can remove transitive dependencies. We mentioned that then when something considered to convert into third normal form. So okay, at that level, that should be in a second normal form when you are trying to convert something into third normal form. So we know that previously we mentioned that transitive dependencies, if we can remove the transitive dependencies here, there were in second normal form, there were still transitive dependencies because that's why it is considered as it is in second normal form. Got that. So others, if needed, we can consider they already in a third normal form because of there are no transitive dependencies, no transitive dependencies. Got that. This is the problem you have to address because of by removing this one, okay, then you can convert that into third normal form too. That is okay. Then you can tell that table also in third normal form. How you can perform that? Just read these things and understand the basic concepts. Then you will be able to understand these things yourself properly. After that, we can go through an example. Third normal form, we were discussing about third normal form, and you had to eliminate transitive dependencies. You know what are transitive dependencies? When non-prime key depends on another non-prime key uh, or field, then we can call it as transitive dependencies are here, there, and the table you should focus on there is you have mentioned that. So these are some explanation related regarding to eliminating transitive dependencies. So here then problem is here job class and charge hour. Then there was transitive dependencies. Then we have to remove that transitive dependency there. Then we can convert that into third normal form. So look at this way. Then by going through this way, we can we can convert this data into the normal form. This one, job code, job description, charge per hour, and table, assigned table can be produced as this way, right? For other things. So then we can consider this is in the normal form, right? Here are no transitive dependencies. This table, then how you can practically perform these things, then you have to go through some examples, more examples, and you have to write answers for related questions. Then you can practically understand these, how you can apply uh, these concepts in different scenarios, right? So that would be important. Okay, these are just theories. So you have to go through examples, more examples yourself, then only you can realize how these practical concepts can be applied in different or several examples, right? So that is related to a third normal form. Then next one is Boy's code normal form. Then again, so what kind of thing can consider as Boy's code normal form? So a table Boy's code normal form if every determinant in very important in the table is candidate key. A determinant, what is determinant? The determinant is any attribute whose value determines other values within a row. Okay, then we can have an example and then you would be able to understand this concept properly. First of all, we will go through these theories. So you know that what is the concept of candidate keys? Hope all of you can understand the difference in between candidate key and primary key. Okay, so candidate key also can be used for uniquely identify record. Okay, then but when one key selected, that becomes primary key, other becomes a candidate key, and then this Boy's code normal form related to candidate keys. So here we are discussing about how can the table be the normal form and not be in Boy's code normal form. So that then we should be able to that when something is in the third normal form, we should be able to perform normalizing there, and you can be able to convert that into Boy's code normal form. Understood, right? So second normal form, third normal form, you already know. In this case, we are discussing about third normal form and Boy's code normal form. That Boy's code normal form in higher level, right, than third normal form. You already know these when considering the third normal form is in a lower level, right? Situation we have just described. Third normal form fails to meet Boy's code normal form requirement is mostly easily understood by examining figures like this way. So here the problem is this one. Got that third normal form, no transitive dependencies are there. And but it is in not Boy's code normal form. Look at this one, right? Due to this dependencies, actually determined, previously we mentioned this concept. If every determinant in the table is a candidate key. A determinant is any attribute whose value determines other values within a row. These concepts, right? Look at this one. Then A plus B and C and D depends on A by using A and B. That means, okay, C and D determined by using A and B. And B, look at this one. Important, this is very important. B can be determined by using C. Right? Then table structure shown, this one, no partial dependencies. So no partial dependencies, what does, you know what are partial dependencies and what rows are depending here. So if there is partial dependency, what thing you should do? Then so this way you have to see that partial dependency. Got that? Or this way. Got that? So there are no that kind of partial dependencies. So this then partial dependencies means what? This field depend on primary key. Got that? right? Here, in this voice code normal form scenario, this key depend on this key. Got that? That is the difference. Okay, that is the new thing. That is the thing we have to, okay, that is this is in already third normal form. Okay, so how you can provide, how you can remove this state also, then provide, if you are considering this as a problem or issue, then how you can remove that. Okay? If you have, if you can give solution for this dependency, then you can convert that into a voice code normal form. It is not, okay, this is still in third normal form. Okay, not in voice code normal form due to this dependence. Yeah, understand the new thing, huh? Very important thing, huh? So that description has been given in the this one, can read and understand. Yeah, this condition C determine B indicates what? None key attribute determines what? Part of primary key. Okay, this is not a transitive, this is not a partial, right? So that's why we call this as in third normal form. Okay, then after that, so this condition causes the table to fail to meet the voice code normal form. Yes, if there is this kind of dependency or condition or determination something, okay, this is not in voice code normal form. If there is this kind of thing, it is failing to meet requirements for voice code normal form. You know that every normal forms there are requirements. So first normal form, there can't be repetitive things or there can't be empty things or that kind of things. Okay, then second normal form, there can't be partial dependencies anymore. Got that? In the third normal form, there can't be transitive dependencies also. Okay, then here, so this kind of dependency is what kind of things? None key attribute. Okay, if none key attribute determines part of primary key, okay, then we can't say that that is in voice code normal form. If we can eliminate that kind of conditions, then we can only say that that is in voice code normal form. Hope you can understand this. This would be very important understanding these key concepts. Okay, otherwise, when you know about these concepts, you can practically apply these theories or concepts in, and you can break them into different tables and form different tables. Then you can go through normalization steps. So what are the things you have to do to convert third normal form into voice code normal form? First, change the primary key to A plus C. Previously, primary key was A plus B, right? Then this is an appreciate action because the dependency, right? Then what is the thing? Superset of B. Then if these things, then A and Z are primary keys, then what is the thing? B depends on, then B depends on C. Then C is, then if you change this as a primary key or composite key, right? So A and C, if you make that, then B becomes a what? Other non-prime key. Then non-prime key depends on prime key or key attribute. We call that kind of situation as partial dependency. then we can eliminate that. Then we can by going through that event, that two steps. What are two steps? Changing the primary key or composite key. After that, it generate partial dependencies. After removing partial dependency, you can convert that into Boyce Codd normal form. So that is the thing you have here. That point table is in first normal form because of it contains a partial dependency. Okay, so due to this action, try to understand these concepts. Then when you know the basic things properly at this stage, you should be able to understand these concepts. Hope all of you can do that. So then this is the way that, yeah. Then we change that we make that A and C as primary keys here. Then this is the previous stage. After that, okay, original one, we change that. Okay, this is the first step. Okay, then this is the initial one, and this is the first step. And after that, step one, and after that, we made these two as primary keys. Then no problem. This is depending on this C means a partial dependency kind of thing, and then that thing is what you can eliminate that partial dependency is how then you can break this table. This is in another table, okay, and this becomes another table. Now you can see what then here. Okay, and this is not a partial dependency anymore because of why? This field completely depend on both keys, both fields, right? Partial dependency means what? Non-prime field depend on only part of the primary key. This is not. This is completely depend on that. Then there is no partial dependency, no transitive dependency. We can say that what? So this is in what? What? This is in what? Third normal form, okay, right? And Boyce Codd normal form, okay. Then if something is in Boyce Codd normal form, that is already in third normal form, second normal form, right? And first normal form, all out. Got that? That's why higher level, when you go through the higher level, right? Other lower level things are already satisfied conditions, right? This is also in third normal form and Boyce Codd normal form. Hope you can understand these concepts. Okay, then the most important thing is what? So partial dependencies and should be able to understand transitive dependencies. After that, we mentioned that uh, when part of composite key or primary key depends on non-prime key, so candidate key or other kind of thing, then you have to change that conditions and primary keys. Then you can convert that into Boyce Codd normal form finally, right? So they are the things you have to perform or do understand in this database implementation, database design and implementation course, right? So these are some examples. Now you can clearly understand, should be able to understand these things, right? So go through these examples and try to understand these concepts. Okay, then hope you can understand this example too. Right? This is the way that you can convert that thing into third normal form and voice code normal form. This is already in third normal form due to this. You can see here due to this dependency, it is not in voice code normal form. Then you have to go through the previously mentioned two steps. That means what? Convert, then we have to change the primary key. After that, again, remove partial dependencies. After removing partial dependencies, then you can tell that these two tables, okay, then these two tables are uh, in voice code normal form. Then you can understand automatically it is in other lower level normal forms too. So they are the things you have to learn regarding to voice, then normal forms. Then hope you can understand these things. Then we can go through other SQL sections. හරි. දැන් මෙතන මේ අපි කතා කරේ voice code normal form එකට එන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා. third normal form එකේ එකක් අපි දැක්කා මෙතනදී මේ partial, දැන් මෙතන තිබ්බා composite primary key එකක් තියෙද්දි ඒ composite primary key ඒවා ටිකක් දැන් prime key attributes නේ මේවා එතකොට මේ primary key එකේ කොටසක් නෙවෙයිනේ. හැබැයි primary key එකේ කොටසක් නොවන field එකක් උඩ primary key එකේ කොටසක් depend වෙනවා කියලා ඔයා හඳුනගත්තොත් හඳුනගන්නේ කොහොමද? මේ class code එක උඩ staff ID එක වෙනස් වෙනවා නම් හැම record එකකින් එකටම යද්දී ඔයාට තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන් මෙතන මේක මේ partial dependency එකකුත් නෙමෙයි. කලින් කිව්වා වගේ transitive dependency එකකුත් නෙමෙයි. මෙතන තියෙන්නේ වෙනම dependency එකක්. හරි, මේ හේතුව හින්දා තමයි මේක third normal form එකේ තිබුණත් voice code normal form එකට යන්නේ නැත්තේ. ඒකට අපිට කරන්න පුළුවන් කොහොමද? දැන් primary key එක දැන් මෙයා candidate key එකක් වෙනවා. හරි, එතකොට අපිට එයාව මොකද කරන්න පුළුවන්? primary key එක form කරන්න use කළා. හරි, composite primary key එකක් එයා use කළා, class code එක use කළා generate කරලා. හරි, ඒක උඩ මෙයා depend වුණාට අපිට ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. එතන partial key එකක් හැදෙන්නේ නැහැ. අරගෙන අපිට normalize කරන්න tables. එතකොට අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් voice code normal form එකේ මේක තියෙනවා කියලා. Okay, then there are the things you have to go through in normal forms. After that, so here this is a base full number. Okay, then so in this session we can go through the next part. Actually, this is maybe the last thing or other kind. Say last theory section we learn basically about ER diagrams. So they are the main parts, right? So here ER diagrams already discussed. Relational schema, another main section we discussed. Okay. After that, normal form, another main section. I told that how many marks you can score. Got that? Then other remaining section is SQL. Then all upcoming sessions are based on SQL. Right? Then these things, first we can study about theories related to SQLs. Then we can go through some practical activities by using applications regarding to SQLs. Got that? Another thing you have to understand how to do SQL practicals. Previously, I asked general website for understanding SQL codes, but officially, hope all if you can understand, you have to go through some web applications. So then you have to log into that web application like this way, right? Then
ටෙස්ට් කරලා තියෙන මේ ඇප් එක ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ඇක්සස්
කරන්න පුළුවන් මෙන්න මේ කියන IP address එකෙන් publicly ඉන්ටර්නෙට් එකේ ඉන්න කෙනෙකුට මේ ඕනම කෙනෙකුට මෙන්න මේ IP address එක පාවිච්චි කරලා web browser එකක් හරහා මේ app එක දෙන්න පුළුවන්. අපි suggest කරන browser එක තමයි Google Chrome එක. students ට instructions දෙන්න Google Chrome browser එක පාවිච්චි කරන්න කියලා මේක තමයි IP address එක දෙන්නේ. students ලා හරි staff එකේ හරි OSL network එක ඇතුලේ නම් within OSL network එකේ නම් වැඩ කරන්නේ මෙන්න මේ local IP address එක පාවිච්චි කරලා මේ app එකට join වෙන්න. මම locally තමයි දැන් join වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. මම මෙතනින් login SQL app කියන බටන් press කරාම මෙන්න මේ වගේ interface එකකට යනවා. එතෙන්දී student ගේ registration number එක ඉල්ලනවා. අපි මේ ටික ඔක්කොම system එකට add කරලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ වගේ registration number එකක් ඔයගොල්ලෝ මෙතන add කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකේ password එක විදියට තියෙන්නේ මේ registration number එක තමයි. registration number එක තමයි username එකත් password එකත් registration number එකමයි. ඊට අමතරව මොනවා හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නිසා students ලාගේ registration numbers හොයාගන්න බැරි මොනවා හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තිබුණොත් අපි ඒක විසඳන්න කරන් student 1 ඉඳලා student 2 එකට අපේ accounts හදලා තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ කෙනෙකුට student 1 කියන username එක විදිහට දාලා password එක විදිහට student 1 කියලා දාලා මෙතන log වෙන්න තියෙනවා. ඒ accounts system හදලා තියෙනවා. lectures ලාට join වෙන්න මේ විදිහට accounts ලාට හදලා තියෙනවා. lecture 5 දක්වා ඒ password එකේ lecture 1 ඉඳලා lecture 5 දක්වා මේ විදිහට log වෙන්න පුළුවන්. student 19 කට පාවිච්චි කරලා තියෙනවා. password එක එකමයි. මම log වෙනවා. මෙන්න මේ වගේ interface එකක් තමයි අපිට ලැබෙන්නේ. මෙතන තමයි SQL commands වල execute කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. SQL commands අපි ලියන්න පුළුවන්. මෙතන execute කරන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් අපි කිසිම database එකක් හදලා නැහැ. ඒ නිසා database එකක් හදන්න ඕනේ. හැබැයි database එක හදද්දී මේ instructions ටික අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම දෙන්න ඕනේ. අපි දන්නේ create database තමයි command එක SQL command එක. නමුත් මේ prefix එක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම මේ student පාවිච්චි කරන්න ඕනේ. db_student19 කියන prefix එකට පස්සේ යාට කැමති නමක් දාන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි මේ student අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම db_student19 කියන prefix එක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම use කරන්නම වෙනවා. ඒක student වෙනස් වෙනවා. ලොගින් registration number එක ගන්න. මෙතන instruction automatically appear වෙනවා. මම මෙතන database එක හදන්න. මම database එක නම දාන්නම් ABC කියලා. එතකොට db_student19.
Okay, student, or you already can access this video by going through LMS, right? I am just showing if you can't clear voice properly, then you should be okay, then we can access them in so this is just a introduction. Okay, then when okay, this you when you are doing practically, this would be important, right? Practical yourself, or at the exam also you have to practical exam you have to follow these kind of methods, right? So that's why this is just an introduction, right?
Okay, database එක හැදුනා. create වුණා. දැන් මෙතන පෙන්නන ඔය හැදිච්ච database එක අපි ඒක use කරන්න ඕන නැත්නම් select කරන්න ඕන. මෙන්න මේ විදිහට දැන් database එක select කරලා තිනවා. මට එතන ඉඳලා commands type කරන්න පුළුවන්. show tables වගේ දේවල්. semicolon එක දාන්න ඕන කිහිපයක් commands දාන්න ඕන නැත්නම් අවශ්‍යත් නැහැ. මම මේ command එක execute කරනවා. බලන්න මේ දැනට එක table එකක් වත් නැහැ කියලා තමයි පෙන්නන්නේ. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මේ කලින් පාවිච්චි කරපු commands නැවත ගන්න ඕන නම් මෙතන click කරාමත් මේ command එක මෙතනට එනවා. students වලට මේ ගැන කියන්න. මෙතන click කරපු ගමන් මේ command එක මෙතනට එනවා. ඊට අමතරව previous command list එකෙත් මේ අපි type කරපු සියලුම commands list කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ ඕනම එකකට click කරාම මේ විදිහට අපිට මේ command එක ගන්න පුළුවන්. click කරාම automatically මෙතනට එනවා. ඉතින් මේ facility ඔයගොල්ලන්ට පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඊට අමතරව previous SQL commands අපි type කරපුවා මොනවද ඒවයි results මොනවද කියලා බලන්න මෙන්න මේ previous SQL කියන option එකට යන්න. එතන ඔක්කොම පෙන්නනවා time එක date එකත් එක්කම. මේ answers කියන එක උමනා වෙන්නේ අතනම exam එකේදී.
questions වලට අදාළ answers මෙතන ලියලා ඒගොල්ලෝ save කරන්න ඕන මොන හරි answer එකක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒක type කරලා අපි sample එකක් විදිහට හිතමු questions කීපයක් තියෙනවා නම් questions 1 කියන එක ලිව්වා අපිට answer එක ලියන්න පුළුවන් මේ විදිහට ලියලා ඒක save කරන්න පුළුවන් නැවතත් අපිට අපේ practical කරලා අපි testing කරලා ආයි නැවත ඇවිල්ලා අපිට answers ඊළඟ ප්‍රශ්න වලටත් මේ විදිහටම answers ලියන්න පුළුවන් මේකේ තියෙන chance එක තමයි මේ ඔක්කොම automatically මේ server side එකේ store වෙනවා. ඉතින් අපිට manually මේව collect කරන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ මේ සීලුම දේවල් records වෙන නිසා. Okay මේක try කරන්න.
So the other things you have to careful while we are going through so these SQL related lessons. So here firstly we are discussing about going to discuss about theories regarding to these things. You can practically do these things by accessing the web application according to the given instructions. So that instructions video may be able to access using a Learn or USL site. That means it is your LMS, learning management system of the university. So introduction database languages enable to create a database and table structures. Then you should be able to what? So manage that data, right? Manage data means what? Add, delete, modify. So then you have to properly perform these things, actions. Otherwise, there would be anomalies or kind of things. A short structured query. Procedure languages, so that kind of things. SQL falls into two sub-languages and data manipulation language. Manipulation means managing related things. We mentioned that. Data definition language. SQL for creating, altering, and dropping tables. So create, that means defining, altering, and dropping. Here this one is actually related to queries, right? Retrieving and storing data, right? So most important, DML means data manipulation things, commands actually select, update, delete, insert, right? So when you perform some actions, first of all, we have to select what you perform some action, right? So when you are deleting some file, we have to select what are the files that you are going to be delete or share or copy or that kind of thing, right? So like kind that way, you should be able to what? You should be able to select them. Then you can make updates or deletions or insert into. Then here we are discussing about databases. So maybe tables, most of times tables or update databases. Then you have to go through these activities. So here we are going to discuss about the code related to these things. Data manipulation language. After that, data definition language, data definition language related to these things. Create, alter table or drop table, create index. Index means what? Create an index means search key. Drop index, deletes an index, and SQL has three main roles. What are the roles? Creating databases and defining its structure. That means how you can then after that asking questions or querying from the database, obtain to when necessary answers. Okay, if you have properly build up your database, then you can efficiently ask questions. We discuss that how to build a database efficiently. and without any problems. We mentioned at the previous sessions, right, about the consistency and integrity of database and its tables. After that, other important thing is control your database, manage your database in secured way of data and other without other vulnerabilities, right? Then the DCL, data control language, deals with database security, right? Sub language of like DML and DDL. So not only these three types, DDL, DML, DCL, there are many other sub languages, but these are the most important sub languages, DML and DDL. Finally, it came DCL, right? Hope all can understand DDL. So these things and introduction to DDL, right? Read these things and understand these concepts. Okay, then finally you should yeah, this here this SQL definitely will not come for cat 1, right? Then that is for okay, cat 2 or practical things. Okay, but okay, then all the official statements are given in Learn or USL website. You have to follow that. If that my statement also can be changed there, got that? Then okay, the next what lessons which are comes for your cat 1 and cat 2 means practical test, and also final exam. Okay, you have to strictly go through the instructions on Learn No USL website. Okay, continuously search for updates. Okay, that would be okay as soon as possible. Then we would be able to update Learn How USL websites. Okay, you know that we are updating all the recordings. Okay, just after the every session, then all the documents like in that way. Okay, keep in touch with our Learn How USL site. Then you would be able to know these sessions and cat 1, cat 2 related sessions very quickly as soon as possible, right? Then wait until you get official notice regarding to cat 1 and cat 2 lessons regarding, right? You already know that cat 1 day and days would be important. The other things, and we will focus on study materials and concepts, theories on these sessions. And here, introduction, data definition, language, DDL, and create database. How you can create then this? Then students very important here. Then when you are talking about SQL, yeah, then here look at this one. Create database. This is very closer to natural language, right? So when you are then case sensitivity, that means capital symbol. Would it matter for give commands, right? No, you can even type these things in simples also. Here, look at this one. Create database. Even if you type in capital, no problem would be a matter. Then they are considered as same way. Then so don't worry about this MySQL thing. So some framework and applications are showing this thing, but when you are giving commands or coding, okay, you can just only use this part, right? So very important thing is here, if you are needed to create a table, before create a table, there should be a database. Because of that is the initial thing you should be able to do. Got that? So while you are having a database, what is a while you are having a database, then you can create tables. If needed, you can delete table or modify table. Alter tables can be proceed there, right? So create table. So then this table name can be any name you can give according to your requirement or according to the context or according to question or according to the practical requirement, right? So this is actually the response. So if you follow and if you hit enter or if you hit OK, then it shows if whether you have entered a correct command or not, whether it is processed or not. So that kind of thing. Here use MySQL means what? That means already you have created the table, right? Then you can use that table. You can then you issue that MySQL command database change. So create a stable statement if you have a database, right? So you can create tables, right? So then how you can access? Other thing is student here may. So this is the normally look at this one. The students so here you can access the application by going through this one. Then practically at this stage you don't need to perform this one because you will be have recording and you can go through these things later. Okay, at this stage we are just discussing about basic theories. All right, in next session, that means next day, we can do practicals, right? Practicals means practical related discussions, right? It is not a test, right? Then at today's session we are just going through these theories. Okay, we are not completely typing these codes, or we are just giving an introduction. Next day we will go through deeply these codes. Then you can go through practical activities related to code. Then today we are just giving an introduction here. Then how you can so here, then you can previously when you access this site, after that what? Then you can log into site by going through the previous one. So if you you have to use strictly you have to use students sites. Okay, don't use lecturers user credentials to logging into your account. You have to use your student credentials, username and password, or otherwise you can use previously mentioned common student username and passwords. Okay, otherwise it will make a problem if you go on through this way. Again, then lecturers thoughts, right? Then okay, when you got into the site, then first thing you have to do is what? Creating a what? Database. Then your one is, it is what? Create database DB student something, right? Right. Then when you so what is that? Then at the initial stage you will show that database server like this way, right? Got that? Then there would no chord cycles. So this is the initial one, right? Then you have to what? Then you have to, then this is what? DB student part. This one should be okay, not lecturer one, right? You should be use student something, right? Then we will so how you can so what was okay, we will see that we will check that students credentials.
1 කියන එක username එක විදිහට දාලා password එක විදිහට student1 කියලා දාලා මෙතනට log වෙන්න.
Here then you can use that here student okay, I will use here some student course student 20. Okay, you see that okay, then here student 20. Don't type this one at this stage, otherwise student. So by going through that way, initially you will, then there are no, databases. If you have tried, someone tried to create that, this is a common access one, okay? Then you can log into your own account by accessing this way, right? So student registration number and password. If you can't logging into that way, you can buy common things. Then common things, what is the disadvantage? So that can be used by everyone. Got that? That is the problem. Then you know disadvantage when something is used by multiple users. Got that? Then here, so if you are going through that way, then you have to what? Go through that way, create database like that. Then someone has used this one. So the create database DB ABC, right? Then if some other needed to create another database, you have to select this stage and delete this one, your own one. Then think that your name. Okay, this is a common way, right? If you then best method is what? You have to log into your personal your only personal account by using your password, right? Otherwise, then your data would be lost. Someone can delete your data if they have access there. Anyway, okay, then student 20, this part is must, right? So here, you can use any name or other kind of code. So here, by executing this one, what? Look at this one, okay, new database. Got that? So common one, okay, this is not a private one. Okay, I have logged by using student one, common student account. Got that? Then after that, then you have a database, right? Then when you have a database, you can perform what kind of things? Then you can what? Now we created a database. So create database option, then database name we given as student Kamal or something, right? Can you remember that? Yeah. If you have that database, okay, then you can what? So when you know, then otherwise, student, you know that this is HTTP, not a secured website. Then if you can use, if you have any problem related to your privacies, you should use what? VPN. Then you can freely access your VPN by in what? Opera browser, but it is recommended to use Google Chrome. Okay, then if you are considering of your privacy or other kind of, then in studies you are learning about HTTP are not secured, but no problem here. But if you are concerning of that, you can use what VPN option, what where you can see here enable VPN options in where Google, not Opera browser and VPN, right? Then no one can understand your IP address and other kind of things. So this is actually security related things just for your understand, right? Then so that's a way of accessing securely these sites. And here then I created then as an I logged as an student here and created a database here. After that, you can they already created a database, right? Then after that, we should be able to create a table, right? So create a table can be so here create table wheels. So like kind that way, then you can create tables. So we are just going through theory, right? So if needed, you can create tables, and this is the format. Then here what? So name, amount, and account IDs are the fields. So here data types, characters are storing in name. We mentioned about data type, right? The numbers are storing in amounts, numeric. In account ID, we are storing about numbers, right? So by going through that way, Okay, you have to type, right? You have to learn type. Okay, then here you can create what? A table structure, right? Then if needed, you can insert data into that table. Because of that, all that table already is, existed in this your database. Got that table not we created in this database, not others databases. Okay, if you are accessing your own account, then these kind of problems would not occur. Then other students would be delete your database if you are logging by using logging into a common account. Got that? Then so they are the things. So then we can go through these theories purely today. Okay, then we can do practical related activities in next day, right? When we know about these theories, then we can quickly go through them. Here, look at this one. So we have to cover these theories related to SQLs. So these are already actually practical related things, but we have to go through these theories very quickly. Then we would be able to do practical activities in next sessions. So that's why, okay, I would not use applications, web application like this one today. Okay, I have now you know basics, right? Then others practically, if needed, you can do these things at home. But today we are just focusing about most of theories, these things, right? Okay, we will go through these things. Read yourself and understand these things. I will give 2-3 minutes for understand basic concepts. So basic coding cards. We will describe I will describe important sections, right? Okay, then now time is 5:30. Okay, we will start our next session. After 30 minutes, right? So we are going to have a break now.